So everyone, welcome to Power Play with CJ. Today we're going to do the sleeper picks, things to watch. I did my favorites. This is the sleepers. That could happen. That I can see. Possibility happening. Same thing as last time. Team awards first, then individual awards. Without further ado, my sleeper pick to win the Eastern Conference, the Ottawa Senators. They're the sexy young team on the rise that went out and got an established 30-goal scorer in Bobby Ryan. Gave up some pretty valuable assets, but felt it was a move that needed to be made. Like I said, they've been a team on the rise for a couple of years. Under McLean, looked like all was lost, but when he took over, it was going to be a massive rebuilding process. But he takes over. They make the playoffs back-to-back years. They lose Alfredson, but who's to say Bobby Ryan doesn't do as good, if not a better job than Alfredson did the last couple of years. So there's something to be cognizant of. Flip side of the coin, the Western Conference. I didn't do this intentionally; it just sort of came up. The other team involved in the Bobby Ryan sweepstakes, the Anaheim Ducks, are my sleeper pick to win the Western Conference. They've got goaltending, they've got quality young assets that can improve or be flipped out for a veteran that can help you down the stretch. Bobby Ryan's a tough guy to replace, but they've got players in the organization that collectively can replace that productivity. And I like the way they're built. I think they could be the deepest team in the league in terms of the forward core. From the first line to the fourth line. So there's that going for them. They got goaltending. Hopefully on the blue line, Cam Fowler takes steps forward. If he can be not as prolific, but if he can be to them what Erik Karlsson is to the Ottawa Senators in terms of being a bona fide, power play quarterback that's not going to kill you defensively. And I'm not even talking about, the massive numbers of points Karlsson piles up. That can really be a straw that stirs the drink for the Ducks going into the season. And I think Lindholm, the Swedish kid, will be big for them, the first-round pick last year. Individual win, my sleeper Stanley Cup. Ottawa over Anaheim in 5 games, reversal 2006, I guess. My sleeper pick for the Calder Trophy, sexy sleeper pick, is Valeri Nichushkin, who pretty much every prognosticator has as their sleeper pick. But since that's been overused, I'm going to go with tie. 2 defensemen taken in the 2012 NHL draft. Ryan Murray, who's coming off shoulder surgery, but will start the year with the Columbus Blue Jackets after missing most of last year with the Everett Silvertips. And Jacob Trouba, University of Michigan. I think he'll be definitely a stud for Winnipeg this year, and I think he'll be he played for Michigan last year. Not to confuse people. He's going to win the Calder Trophy at the University of Michigan. I think he's ready for big time. He could challenge for a spot in the Olympic team, given how good he is. And I think his all-around game will definitely help him. And he'll turn in some heads this year for sure. Speaking of quality young defensemen, my sleeper pick for the Norris Trophy, and this is a real long shot in the dark, like betting on the Oakland Raiders from the Super Bowl. Not necessarily that far. But Jonas Brodin of the Minnesota Wild. Now, I know you're saying, CJ, you're an idiot, but I like the steps he took last year as a rookie, coming off, I think he had broken clavicle at one point. He really brought out the best in Suter, and I think that's going to continue, and I think he'll win an Norris Trophy for the next 5 years. This year might be a little too close, but a little too soon, but when you're that good in terms of your fluidity and your skating ability, more points are going to come. His plus minus will be pretty good. He's playing with a hell of a player, Ryan Suter, and I look for definitely a step up in the offensive productivity. Now it's a long shot he wins the Norris Trophy, but that's why, hence the word sleeper pick. Vezina, I get Jimmy Howard which really isn't a sleeper pick, but I just think he's going to be relied upon more so than ever. With Detroit's core getting a little bit older and only getting older with Alfredson joining the mix. But I like Howard's sleeper pick to win the Vezina. There's 30 goalies in the league, maybe 10 of a legitimate shot. Lundqvist, Quick, him. I'm just trying to go back over Rene, Bobrovsky. I couldn't think of who one was. Yeah. So there's 10 guys that have a legitimate shot. I put him in it. So we'll see. So much of it's arbitrary in terms of who values wins over save percentage. It goes against average. It's it is what it is. But I think you'll have a healthy mix of wins, high save percentage, low goals against average. So just something to watch for. Sleeper pick for the Rocket Richard Trophy, and this was really kind of a cop out as Tavares. I think if that team continues to take steps forward, in a positive direction, which, if you know the New York Islanders the last 20 years, that hasn't been the case. I think Tavares can score 55 goals next year, but the rest of the team's got to step up. We know what he can do. It's what his teammates do to make his job of scoring goals a little bit easier. Sleeper pick for the scoring title, Anze Kopitar. I mean, he's led the playoffs in scoring before, so no reason he can't lead the regular season in scoring. But the LA Kings system will hamper his offensive numbers, but hence why it's a sleeper pick. Just throwing a shot in the dark. And I knew saying like Claude Giroux or a guy like that would have been totally copping out. So went with Kopitar. My sleeper pick for the MVP actually is Claude Giroux. I think part of it is if he gets off to a slow start, the golf jokes are going to come in like hell, and he's playing in a tough market. But I got Giroux as a guy to watch because he's a great all-around center, and I think he'll be a big part of Canada at the Olympics this year. And finally, my super pick for the Jack Adams Trophy, Kevin Dineen in South Florida. This team, the Florida Panthers had Murphy's Law with them last year. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. Goodbranson was ready for the start of the season. He hurt himself wakeboarding, which happens to the team in South Florida. Guys were hurt in and out of the lineup. The goaltending wasn't that great. The blue line collapsed. The forwards couldn't score. But Jonathan Huberdeau somehow won the Calder Trophy. Out of all that, I think if that team takes steps forward and they play like the Panthers of 2 years ago, when they won the division and took the eventual Eastern Conference champion New Jersey Devils to 7 games, they could be a team to watch. So, I like Dineen as a coach. I think he got shafted in the Jack Adams voting. 2 years ago. So, he's a hell of a coach, and I think he'll get the most out of a team that has some raw potential / talent, but his players in a very, very tough division, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's this episode of the Power Play with CJ. And my sleeper picks for the 2013-2014 season. Stay tuned for episodes throughout the season and beyond. Later, guys.